it's amazing to me. I mean, I think what I think about is humanity, and I feel like people lose that when talking about immigrants, inmates, and you are a public defender, you're a fierce advocate for criminal justice. And when I was researching about you, the city council just passed legislation to reinstate this program to help transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming former inmates re-enter society. I want to know what happened to that program, and also I want people to understand why it's so important that we invest in these people and help them re-enter into society.
Yeah. One thing, I'm gonna put like my nerd hat on, and on the most zoom out. I will always want to zoom out into a larger thing, and I am unapologetically a queer, socialist, abolitionist, and all of those things go hand in hand, right? Queer liberation cannot be disconnected from abolition and like what that journey is towards building out a world that supports our people. But re-entry services, that's harm reduction, right? That's like a small piece that we can, it's like a yes and. We want to make sure that people can re-enter their communities after a period of incarceration, lessening the chance that they are going to re-enter the criminal legal system. But what I want to be really clear about is that the real problem is that the upfront investments aren't made. That austerity, and we have a mayor that is cutting everything across the board.
Well, and he's too busy at Zero Bond, so he's busy partying with the Jenners.
But when you take all those things away and you leave these gaps, those gaps, they manifest as societal ills, and we feel them. And what we do is we criminalize them and we incarcerate people. Responsibility does not begin and end with a person. It begins and ends with systems.
Right.
Yeah, and so just people need first chances, not getting those services after being incarcerated, but getting that first chance at them before a cop shows up, before a prosecutor throws them in jail.
And also, you mentioned this before, but I am so for decriminalizing sex work. And that's not only because I know what my number is. It's my credit card statement. But you are proposing that to create a sex worker opportunity program from the Mayor's Office of Equity. Why is it so important? I think you kind of just touched upon it, to like decriminalize sex work, to invest in them, to help them. And why is it important to LGBTQ people in particular?
Sex work is work, period. Right? Like that's the starting point.
You all go on OnlyFans, you know.
But let's take my home borough of Queens. I've given up the title of Queen of Queens, by the way, after that performance earlier. I'm like, you can have it. It's yours. Amazing. But, in Queens, right, we have a large, beautiful, vibrant community of trans Latina sex workers in Jackson Heights, for example. We have a large, beautiful, vibrant community of Asian migrant sex workers in Flushing. And the common thread there is that these are communities that have been marginalized and discriminated. And so when you can't access, because of discrimination and marginalization, stable jobs in like mainstream economies, when you can't get an apartment, when you don't have access to health care, you are driven into underground economies. This is how survival sex work is how people put food on their tables, right? And so making sure that we create an environment that makes it safe for sex workers, creating an environment where actually it's proven that we can better target trafficking through decriminalization of sex work. So what I introduced is a sex workers, like a series of things that would protect sex workers, including a fund for sex workers who have been deplatformed, including banning discrimination in housing if you are currently engaged in sex work or are a former sex worker, and a number of other things just to help protect folks and stabilize lives.
No, it's great. It's hard not to get frustrated by, we have these big problems, immigration and climate change, criminal justice, and we can see solutions. And it's not just like Republicans that are in the way. It's like institutional problems, outdated establishment problems that stand in the way from these solutions. How do you stay engaged and not like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm going to Long Island, the beach. Like how do you stay in it? Why do you keep fighting?
It depends on the day that you ask me, to be honest. Because also, like, real talk, political violence is real, and being a queer Latina in politics in this moment, and being like a leftist unapologetically is not easy. But quite honestly, I am hopeful, and there are a ton of people around me that help me be hopeful, and kind of zooming out. Like, again, nerd hat on, having studied the history of movements. They are long. Things have been worse. They have been better. Like, we continue to fight and care for and love each other, and like that is what makes it worthwhile, without a doubt.
And finally, what does Pride mean to you, and why is it so important that we continue to fight to make sure that every person, a part of this community, can celebrate it?
Yeah, I think Pride is a lot of things, but I think in this moment, what we're finding at Pride event after Pride event, and it's true, right? Like, it's the speech of our communities are under attack, especially our trans communities, especially trans children, and like, yes, those things are true, but what Pride means to me, or the thing that I tap into around Pride every year, is that when we talk about our community's liberation struggles, it was never about simply just being able to survive. It wasn't about just that. But in fact, it was to be able to not just survive, but experience joy, to play, to build families, to love, right? To become elders, to pass on our stories generationally, right? Like, that is what Pride is about to me. It is about fighting for our joy. Like, it's not just about saying, let's stop this fucked up shit. It's like, no, let's live our best fucking life. Let's live our best life.
Let's live our best life. Let's dance.
Lives that we could possibly imagine.
Well,
That is Pride.
That is Pride. And Tiffany, before I let you go, I want to play this little game with you I do with all my guests. It's called Issues with a Twist. So we're going to put a minute on the clock. And in this very normal sized martini glass, there are several very important issues, and we're going to go back and forth. We pick one out, and we're going to just, as fast as possible, knee-jerk reaction. Why does this issue matter to us? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready, Jackson? Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
Getting rid of gender categories at award shows. It's stupid. Like, an actor's an actor. Why do we need to make it a gender? Like, everyone just be in the same category. Go.
Oh my God. Favorite queer romance novel. So many. And oh my God. Love and Other Disasters. Delilah Green Doesn't Care.
Okay, she reads.
Anything by Casey McQuistion.
She reads.
Who is a Queens?
Okay, lack of lesbian bars in the country. It's a severe problem. You're going to see this later. We address this.
Okay, but also check out Dave's Lesbian Bar. They're going to be opening up in brick and mortar soon.
Yeah.
What's that say? Yankees or Mets? Oh, fuck. I'm in politics, y'all.
I can't help you there.
I grew up a Yankees
I saw
fan.
Madonna Yankee Stadium. Yankees. Corporate allyship, Target and Starbucks are being Pride albums. What pussies? I mean, come on, just stand with us.
Ticket prices for Pride events. Wait, y'all pay tickets?
Oh my God, Horse Meat Disco costs $90. That's insane. I've gone into debt going to Pride parties. You never gone to one of those circuit parties?
I have, but like.
There are gays in here who
my
spent
20s.
$200 to go to Brooklyn Mirage on Saturday in the rain and not hear music.
Fuck that. I'm that bitch that's like, when my friends send me
Yeah.
the selfie of being out at night, I send the selfie of myself in bed with a book, like in my pajamas.
And that's why she's a rising star in City Council. Please give her a round of applause to Tiffany Cabán.